YouTube? Tire Metalhead Weatherman here. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. Well, found out today that we had a new climatological outlook, and we are now able to look at the first 7 days of December. So I figured now would be a good time, as good of a time as any, to do our first real outlook into December now. So before we get started, appreciating the love that I've been getting on this channel. Been growing pretty quick. I would say not bad for about 8 months in. Hard to believe there's still a whole month to go left in the year, and I'm excited to see what happens next for the channel. And I'm excited not just for that month, but all the time beyond that. So anyone who supported the channel at any point from the beginning up to now, thank you. And to anyone that may be watching in the future, thank you to you as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into this here. So we're going to be taking a look at the first week of December. So this outlook is valid for the start of November, from the end of November all the way up to the 6th of December. It's pretty much a weekend, and at this point it looks like we've now begun to switch our pattern again. We've gone from more of a just everybody being cold type of situation around the entire country to what looks to be a negative PNA. Just for some insight here, PNA is Pacific North American Oscillation, and a negative means over towards the west it's going to be colder and warmer to the east it'll be warmer. So this is a negative PNA. If this were the opposite, it would be warmer in the west, colder in the east, and that's called a positive PNA. I'm doing weather tutorials right now on a separate playlist. I'll leave the link to that in the top right corner here, and you will also be able to see that at the end of the video. That being said, as I said, the coldest air is going to be mainly centered around the northwest and sneaking its way into the Dakotas here, Montana, northern Idaho especially. Look out. Air could be especially cold for this time of year, where we could be potentially seeing temperatures maybe even 15 to 20 degrees plus below average. Whereas over towards the south, we could be getting unseasonably warm weather. There's pretty high confidence in that actually too, so be on the lookout for that as well. Let's go ahead and look at the precip for the first week, and it's pretty active actually around a lot of the country, especially further to the north. Northern half of the country seems like that's where the highest concentration of precipitation is going to be, and this also includes snowfall, so don't be alarmed, but I'm thinking the snowfall potential is going to be greatest around this region here, because this is where our coldest air was this is where our coldest air was centered as well, and also a little bit around, well, this was actually warmer than average. I'm getting things mixed up already. It's the second video of the day actually, but anyway, this is where the greatest potential snow exists, right pretty much along this line here this imaginary line here I'm trying to draw with my cursor. And then over here we're mainly expecting rain. I do think there could be potential severe weather events in the near future with this, especially as we get towards the first week of December. And our drier than average areas, of course, the desert southwest tends to be a little bit more dry. The jet stream looked like it was kind of pushing more northerly, so we'll have to watch that as well. And then over towards Florida actually looks like it's going to be pretty dry, South Georgia, and over towards the southeastern Atlantic coast. So we'll have to watch out for that. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at what the whole month may look like here. So this was issued about 5 days ago, and for the entire month of December overall, the areas most likely to have above average temperatures is definitely going to be towards the southern half of the country, and this also does kind of creep its way up the mid-Atlantic and the northeast. But most of our areas of greatest interest as far as the warmth will be concerned is going to be over towards the desert southwest, of course, and towards Florida. Anywhere that's in the white is going to be in our equal chance region, and then There's actually not too much below average temperatures to go around here. It looks like mainly towards the far northern part of the U.S. is where we can be expecting cooler than average temperatures. And there's some confidence, but not a lot actually. We're kind of leaning more towards that 40 to 50% chance of it being below average. Not super high confidence, but you never know. And then on top of that, keep in mind that we are looking through this whole month. These are averages. So just because this says overall that you might be cooler than average for the month, there may be a few weeks in there or a few days where we end up being really cool or really warm. Not every day is going to be like what this map is depicting. So just want that to be, I just want to put that out there. Let's go ahead and look at the precipitation outlook. And before I get into that, it's pretty much just as what I spoke about on the temperature outlook. It's the same thing with precip. Just because you're below average does not mean that your whole month is going to be dry or ruined. There's still plenty of times where you will get rain. It just won't be to the amount that's average for the entire month, possibly. And one big system could easily turn stuff like this over on its head. So keep that in mind as well. But there's really only one area that's above average in precipitation for the month, and it looks like it's over towards the northwest, which makes sense during this time of year. This tends to be a very active region during the early months of winter and the late months of fall. And then this area, as the jet stream sometimes retreats to the north, we tend to have these areas be a little bit drier. The weather gets a little bit quiet. Not to say nothing will happen here. There will be some opportunities for rain here for a lot of regions. Florida might be a little bit more dry. I would lean towards what they're showing here for a greater below average chance of precipitation, mainly rainfall. But like I said, one storm system can change all of that. So that being said, let's go ahead and look into that first week and see what kind of storm systems may lie ahead here. So here we are looking at our storm system for this weekend. This rolls through, and then right about at the end of the month is where our next storm system looks like it comes into play here. This is the GFS we're looking at. It's the only one we're going to look at today. And this storm system does look moderately robust, maybe a little bit more robust than this weekend storm. But notice how that jet stream is starting to push a little further to the north. But there also seems to be a little bit greater of a warmer sector as well in comparison to what we were looking at with that last system. So I do think that there is a little bit better of a chance of severe weather. Of course, a lot of this is going to depend on the Gulf of Mexico moisture return and instability within the atmosphere and several other parameters. But I do think the chance for significant weather is a little bit greater with this system than this upcoming one. Then after that, it looks like we get another system that falls in right behind this one. And this really, I think, is what will end up setting that negative P&A pattern into place here. And then also, as you notice that trough builds up right here, you can kind of see this ridge starting to form up here. And this is where we're going to start to see more of that warm air starting to push its way into the southeast and then eventually push further up to the north. And you can kind of see those isobars starting to level out maybe later into the week as a big storm system tries to come in and dig into and create its own little trough, but it's just not going to be able to hold out. And then we end up seeing another storm system try to develop around maybe the 8th. But of course, the further out we get into this model, the further we are into what we call no man's land, and uncertainty increases. So a lot to really, there's still a lot to digest with that. We'll just have to continually monitor it and I will be doing so, of course, on this channel. That's the premise that we build it on, and I intend to keep it that way, first and foremost. So let's go ahead and look at what the precip may look like. Let's not read too far into this, I would say, is because given the fact that we're looking almost 2.5 weeks out, it's not going to give you much leverage. There's not going to be a lot of things to talk about with a lot of leverage here. This looks like a more potentially significant severe event. Also looks like there's more of a snow event with this now too. So we'll have to watch and see what this area ends up looking like here. And this is right around the first of the month in the early morning and afternoon hours. So that's going to be very interesting to see how things progress with that. Also, this low may really depict what may be a sign of what's to come here in the latter half of December. Who knows? Move this along to the third. Another little, we get these little shortwave pieces of energy, where we can get these little showers and storms to form. But mainly with the warm air being in place around this region, we're going to be expecting a lot of rain around here for the first week. And then maybe towards the end, we may get these little clipper systems that may work their way into the northeast. We may also have to be on the lookout towards the end of that first week for some potential lake effect snow. Like I said, given how far out this is, I can't really say with a lot of confidence that that's what it's going to be, but we'll just have to keep a close eye on that. One last thing we're going to look at, and that's going to be the temperature anomalies for the month of December. We already know what our ridge is going to look like, but now we're really just concerned with what December may look like in regards to temperature anomalies. What exactly are our figures? And they're not extreme, I'll say that much. For a lot of areas, it's just going to be about maybe 5 to 10. Some areas could be seeing 15 degrees above or below average, depending on how brighter or how stronger the colors are. Like the darker blues will usually indicate about 10 to 15 degrees below average, whereas our orange and eventually red colors would usually indicate about maybe 5, 10, maybe even 15 degrees above average. But this is pretty much what we're working with right now. I'll probably make one more December update and maybe even a winter update soon. Probably about maybe a week from now. We'll see how that progresses. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this, definitely drop me a like. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Are you looking for more of a cooler December? Do you want a warmer December? Are you looking for rain, snow, any type of particular weather? And what are you looking for on Christmas? You want a white Christmas? Are you looking for, do you think it'll happen in your area? Just, if you have any questions, of course, even let me know in the comments. But other than that, this is it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. This has been Ty Metalhead Weatherman. You guys have a good one.